Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Let's Play Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper. In this session, we are going to try and finish the game completely. I was thinking we might be able to do it last time, but it really just seemed like we're getting close to an end. I also had a look at some people's playlists, and they didn't have that. They had like just shy of 2 hours. From this point, I didn't actually watch any of the videos. I just kind of saw where this bit was, and they had about 2 hours to go based on that. So, might be able to finish this game in this session. Let's head off to where am I going? Oh, I'm going to the news agency, aren't I?
Ah, Bulling is there. It won't hurt just this once.
Am I supposed to talk to him? Talk to him.
Hello, Mr. Bulling. So, did your colleague tell you about the tip?
What tip?
Ah, I see. I gave him an explosive tip and he went without you? Oh, that's not very sporting on his part. No doubt he took all of the credit for his discovery.
You're winding me up, eh?
I must show Bulling something to make him believe me.
The notes.
What do you want?
Debt.
I'm not winding you up. The proof is that he gave me this advance on the debt.
The traitor! He owes me if I find him.
Before I leave, can you do me a favor?
Heck, tell me.
I'm looking for some reliable info on the murders committed in Whitechapel in the months before Polly Nichols' attack.
Reliable? Ha! You really think you'll find that here? Fine. I'll be honest with you. We have folders that group the dispatches from the current year into categories. In the police law category, you'll find the transcripts from the trials and investigations that we sell to the newspapers that ask us.
Perfect.
Sadly, I am out of time. I'll leave you to solve it, eh? You're the detective, aren't you?
Sorry, that side doesn't. Yes, it looks like the labels have come off. That's bad.
The dossiers are full of papers in dated envelopes. I can't open them. That would be too obvious. How can I tell which compartment to look in? No categories are indicated.
You have to give me a number of hints then.
This compartment was repaired recently.
Okay.
An envelope is torn. I can tell that this dispatch contains economic information.
Okay, well, we can put that in there then. Huh. This has been repaired.
This compartment was repaired recently.
So that could be front page because it's the most important, or let's see if there's anything else around that might give us ideas. Hello. Sir, as the agency receives numerous dispatches, the filing system that you made appears to be too small, particularly for the world and society sections, which cover too much area and overflow into the boxes below. Ah. So, you got the world and society section is above police law and culture, respectively. Would you be able to furnish a device in order to keep only one filing cabinet? While awaiting your response, sir, please accept our best wishes. So, without knowing anything else, we know then that the... Oh my goodness, I've forgotten. I'd like to rearrange these. So, culture. Well, let's drop that there. And what was the one that was there? I've already forgotten which it was. Was that world? Like, we know that this is the way things are. Actually, let's have a look at that again. World. Yes, good. So we've got that sorted. We don't know exactly where it is. Stevenson and CI Enterprises Bell repair the wood of the news in brief compartment, £1. Okay, so let's put that in while we remember. So that's news in brief. It's there. So that means that these are in the wrong place. So we'll just slide these things over because those two are below the world. Although I don't know exactly where they are in relation to being below, because there isn't any kind of... Although, we do know that the world one is often overflows, so it might actually be this one. Because it's the one that's the biggest. But we'll go and explore, see if there's any more information. Hello. Attention, the blue envelopes in the dispatch compartment cannot contain confidential facts that must not be discussed in the news. As a reminder, they contain the political personalities, essentially the royal family, and economic issues. The dispatches will be retained only to be diffused from Buckingham Palace or the Minister's Ghost Authority. So it's economy or the royal family. Up blue. It's the economy. So we got... Ooh, that's... oh dear. Well, that's awkward. Because, well, it could be that that's society news, or it could be politics. Sports, we'll just dump you there for the moment. So, yes, we know that's economic. So, these could be either of those. We want a bit more information. Looking for bits where there's a lot of paper. Places where there's a lot of paper is good, because that might have something on it that gives us information. Nothing, no paper being burned. Alas, that'll make things useful. Hello. Dear Fernand, I'm confirming my presence on Friday evening at the club. It will be with pleasure, because I must get my mind off things, or risk falling into a blank depression. Just imagine, the new laddie still has the favours of Janet. But she'll end up forgetting him and giving in to me because I'm not lacking in ideas to get rid of her suitors. Yesterday I randomly placed a few inventions in science with politics dispatches. After all, they're always harebrained items. Given that, the compartments are one on top of the other. It could have easily passed as one of the new lad's errors, and as anticipated, he was called in by the boss. As soon as I have the chance, I will show him how, like in the news, everything's in the balance. He looks like a half-wit. He could easily confuse the politics with the society section on his right, and this latter with economy, which is its neighbour. What a lovely mess. As soon as I have the chance, I'll show him how, like in the news, everything's in the balance. He looks like a half-wit. He could easily confuse the politics. Oh, I see. So let's think about this. So, this makes me think that this then is the politics one. Although that could be they're both mixed up though. Invention science, right? He could easily confuse the politics with the society section on the right, and this latter with the economy, which is its neighbour. So society goes there, and that's politics, which means that's inventions in science. So the world is somewhere over here. I got those going, fitting in around there. Oh no. So that means that police and law and culture are around here. Now, so that implies maybe like that. So world is there. So I've got to work out what these other ones are. Right. Oh, that makes sense because that's probably the one we're taking out, looking at the way it looks. But I think we're probably going to need to work out. No, that's okay. I wonder if there's anything else around that's will help. Oh, letters over here. To improve the dispatch filing, propose major info up high except news and brief, minor info down low except police law. Thus, in future, propose also to invert news in brief, which is for the moment up high, and police law, which is actually down low. Furthermore, the weather section is almost always empty. Put it with news in brief. Question mark. Okay. The weather's almost always empty. So the front page probably goes there then, because that's the important stuff, I'd guess. And then there's another one over here as well. My dear George, your little brother has had some misfortune. My first week of work was very grueling. First, I was given a spot far from the stove and I'm very cold in the morning. Next, I have to sort through the dispatches, the most tedious and boring work imaginable. Once the work is done, I must take each envelope to the journalist in question, who won't even deign to look at me. Finally, at the end of my third day, the boss called me to his office to give me a sermon. It seems that I'd have mixed up the dispatches. I was so worn out that I could hardly protest half-heartedly. He gave me a second chance. Now I'm in a sticky situation. The only hopeful note comes from my colleague, Miss Filfin, a charming young woman who is the only one to give me a smile. She helps me as... Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. I was reading that. She helps me as much as she can, tries to prompt me regarding which compartment I would put my dispatches, because everyone here knows the order of the sections, but no one has bothered to tell me. The lady has so much compassion, slides at me notes such as politics and society are on the side, sports is underneath economy, personalities at the end of the row, front page news is the first compartment, etc. And these confidences are almost words of love from her mouth. I don't think that she likes placing the envelopes on the desk at all, because she ends up with some thanks that are very disturbing. I have volunteered for the task, much to everyone's displeasure. Nothing new concerning my landlady, but I managed to pay her for the week, and she consented to keep me. Don't say anything about my trouble to Mumsy, I don't want to alarm her, but not wanting to lie to her, I have chosen to not write. With the warmest regards, your brother Albert. So let us check what we've got, because I think I might have it wrong. What? Personnel, sports is underneath economy. Personalities is at the end of the row. So that implies that then. Unless that goes there. Which leaves me in the rather interesting issue that... But... Hang on a minute. No. Letter from the director. Police, law and culture. World and society. Oh, right. Oh, the world and society. Right, I misread it. I thought it was just the world. I missed out the society bit. There we go. So we'll grab this note.
These envelopes contain dispatches of police and judicial cases. Now, I need to open them discreetly. I must try to unglue the openings.
Okay, can I not just do it? Or do I need to use the matches? Well, we'll head to the stove and try and use that to kind of get rid of the glue.
I need something. I need something. I need something.
Like what? I don't want to go in the director's room. That probably won't have anything in there.
These envelopes contain dispatches of
Yes.
water.
Oh, I see. I'm going to steam it, am I?
I need something. I need something.
Oh, am I meant to water it? No. Okay.
I need something. I need something.
Okay. Oh, right, the kettle.
I need something. I need something.
I have no idea what's going on.
There, that will provide me with steam.
Okay.
Open, and it looks like I'm in luck. This envelope contains precious information.
I'm confused. Testimony in the Smith affair. Day of the inquest, Saturday, April the 7th, 1888. Mr. Wynne E. Baxter, the East Middlesex coroner, held an inquiry on Saturday, the 7th of April, at the London Hospital respecting the death of Emma Elizabeth Smith, aged 45, a widow. Lately, I think she was one of the victims. A widow lately living at 18 George Street, Spitalfields, who, it was alleged, had been murdered. Chief Inspector West of the H Division of Police attended for the Commissioners of Police. Mrs. Mary Russell, deputy keeper of a common lodging house, stated that she had known the deceased for about 2 years. On the evening of the bank holiday, the 2nd of April, she left home at 7 o'clock and returned about 4 or 5 the next morning in a dreadful state. Her face and head were much injured, one of her ears being nearly torn off. She told the witness that she had been set upon and robbed of all her money. The witness took her to the hospital, and when passing along Osborne Street, the deceased pointed out the spot where she was assaulted. She said there were 3 men, but she could not describe them. Mr. George Haslip, house surgeon, stated that when the deceased was admitted to the hospital, she had been drinking but was not intoxicated. She was bleeding from the head and ear and had other injuries of a revolting nature. Witness found that she was suffering from rupture of the peritoneum, which had been perforated by some blunt instrument used with great force. The deceased told him that at 1:30 that morning she was passing near Whitechapel Church when she noticed some men coming towards her. She crossed the road to avoid them, but they followed, assaulted her, took all the money she had, and then committed the outrage. She was unable to say what kind of instrument was used, nor could she describe her assailants, except that she said that one was a youth of 19. Death ensued on Wednesday morning, the 4th of April, through peritonitis set upon by the injuries. Margaret Hayes, living at the same address as the deceased, deposed to seeing Mrs. Smith and company with a man at the corner of Farrant Street and Burdett Road. The man was dressed in a dark suit and wore a white silk handkerchief, probably the white collar that was mentioned by the PC, I would guess, round his neck. He was of medium height, but witness did not think she could identify him. Chief Inspector West, H Division, stated that he had no official information on the subject and was only aware of the case through the daily papers. He had questioned the constables on the beat, but none of them appeared to know anything about the matter. The coroner said that from the medical evidence, which must be true, it was clear that the woman had been barbarously murdered. So, murder is if your death, even if it doesn't occur at the time of the attack, it is if your death comes as a result of the attack in question. So in this case, it is murder because her death came about because of the attack. It doesn't mean that you died. I don't think it means that if the attack hadn't have happened, you wouldn't have died. In the way you did. I don't think it's that. I think it's if you die because of if you would die as a direct result of the attack, which is wibbly and complicated. And blah. Right, it was impossible to imagine a more brutal and dastardly assault. Just wait for the rest of the year, mate. That we've seen. And he thought the ends of justice would be better met by the jury recording their verdict at once than by adjourning to some future date in the hope of having more evidence brought before them. The jury returned a verdict of willful murder against some person or persons unknown. By some person or persons unknown. The police are making every possible inquiry to the case, but up to yesterday, the 8th of April, had not any clue to the persons who committed the outrage. Right. Oh, another one. Testimony in the Tabram case. Last day of inquest, Thursday, 23rd of August. Yesterday afternoon, the 23rd of August, Mr. George Collier, the Deputy Coroner for South East Middlesex, resumed the inquiry at the Working Lads Institute, Whitechapel, into the circumstance attending the death of Martha Turnham, or Tabram, a hawker, lately living at 4 Star Place, Star Street, Commercial Road East, who was discovered early on the morning of Tuesday the 7th, inst. On the morning of Tuesday the 7th inst. I don't know.